So I just watched a video Andre Meadows of Black Nerd Comedy put up. It's an interview he did with Neil Sabin, one of the guys, the vice chairman at Regular Broadcasting Corporation, basically the guy behind MeTV Toons. And the interview was actually pretty good. I mean, Andre asked the questions that need to be asked. Neil was very complimentary of Andre, thanking him for helping to get the word out about MeTV Toons and everything. And it was during this that he also gave some information. Now, he did, and I'll put the video at the end. I'll put the interview at the end of this audio video if you're watching on YouTube. But basically, he essentially said that, there's a lot of things that people are hoping for with MeTV Toons that, they're working on. They're working on trying to get certain things, on the network and everything. But there are certain things that they have to, kind of accept it's not going to happen, or at least they got to, do certain things. They got to tweak certain things here and there to make it work. Like some of the old cartoons in the past, 6-7 decades, because of the tone of today, they got to tweak it here and there or something, or put a disclaimer and stuff. And basically he said that takes time. It's, he's pushing, he joked about this, but he said he's pushing his staff to the limit, if you will. He's pushing them to the limit and everything. And, what's interesting is, they talked about, of course, the shows that are on there now and how he was able to get them in there and everything, and how he's working with certain states to, get some things, on the air very soon. He did state there are some things coming down the line, down the pipeline, if you will. And he did say that, there's a possibility that come the fall, as I kind of alluded to, that's when you're going to see a bit of a reshuffling, a bit of a change, in some parts of it and everything. And he did say, like, some of the heavy hitters, like the Jetsons, Bugs Bunny, Popeye, Flintstones, Yogi Bear, everything that's pretty much like iconic, character-wise, show-wise, are still going to be there. They're still gonna be there despite, what changes and all that. Because we're already seeing the changes as we speak. Like I said, you're kind of seeing the changes already as we speak. You saw Yogi's Gang get replaced by Yogi Space Race. You saw Wacky Races get replaced by Perils of Penelope Pit Stop, and so on. So you're going to see the changes over time. Over time. If any show is kind of like, starring a certain character, it's going to be put in that position. He did say that one of the things that holds up a lot of the shows that should essentially be on there already is the remastering. And he did allude that with the Yogi Bear Show, the classic one, the classic Yogi Bear, he did say that's coming. That's coming very soon. And one of the things that they've been assured of by Warner Brothers is they are retooling it. They are remastering it to where you get the original opening and you get the original ending, the original intro and outro, just as it was originally foreseen back in the 60s. So that's pretty cool. And he also said the same thing with the Huckleberry Hound Show. And a lot of the characters associated that were introduced during that time frame, or with those shows during that time frame. He did mention that there are a couple of shows that are coming outside, and outside of those, because those are some of the shows he did mention that are coming. The only thing that's holding them up is the remastering and everything. He did say that people ask about the Terry Toons, like Mighty Mouse and such, and he says they're working on that, trying to get that, going. And one of the things they want to do with Terry Toons, or at least they're hoping for, is they get remastered. They want remastered, clean-up versions. They say that they're doing the same with the Harvey Toons that you see right now, like with Casper and Company. They're working on trying to get remasters of those. He said, I think he said the same thing, or at least talked about the same thing with Woody Woodpecker and Popeye, like how those are connected and everything. He also talked about that, at some of the shorts, like I said earlier, due to the insensitivity that is looked at now, they either have to remove that short entirely or they have to edit it just to take that part out. Or they might put a disclaimer. And that's why if you're wondering, okay, am I going to see this short or that short from certain cartoons, like, certain Popeye cartoons or certain Betty Boop cartoons or certain Mr. Magoo cartoons and such, that is, that basically, when you're wondering, are you going to see it? There's your answer. Your answer is you may not see it due to due to the insensitivity involved with it. He did say that they do have a block coming in the fall called Animation Antiques. And what these are going to be are essentially cartoons that are black and white cartoons back from like the 30s, 40s, and all that, but also the rarities, the oddities you would not see, or you would not expect to see ever again. They'll be part of the Animation Antiques. And he's talking like the old black and white Popeyes. I'm sure some of the black and white Looney Tunes like Bosco and Honey, Foxy and Roxy, if you will. But he's also talking about like Courageous. I think he called this character Courageous Cat or something like that. It's going to be in there. Cloud Chicago might show up. So there's a lot of stuff that a lot of animation that is planned. A lot of animation that's planned for that block, for that Animation Antiques Oddities block, if you will. Again, it would be mainly like the black and white stuff that you rarely see, maybe with disclaimers, or more than likely with disclaimers, along with the animations you don't see ever, except maybe once in a while on YouTube or here and there on television. And again, like Courageous Cat and all that. He says that they're working, like I said earlier, they're working with the Fleischer family to get a lot of that stuff, put on the air. He did mention that the Fleischer Superman shorts that you see on YouTube, they'll probably be part of this as well. The Animation Antiques, that is, and maybe even part of another block that he announced, and that block is the Super Friends. That's right. That's right. They're getting the Super Friends, and what that could mean is you're not only going to get the Super Friends and everything, but you're going to get all the shows that probably come after it, like Challenge of the Super Friends, and and so on. And you might even get, along with that Super Friends block, the classic Fleischer Superman. Now, does this mean we could be seeing the Ruby Spears Superman show up? Possibly. Does this mean we could get the Filmation Batman showing up? Possibly. There's a lot of possibilities with the announcement of the Super Friends coming in that, are possible now, because you're going to want to have a block connected to that. So I could see those other DC shows, classic DC animated shows showing up, and that might lead down the line to the 90s Batman, the 90s Superman, Batman Beyond, and so on, and Justice League maybe, who knows? It basically, from what he's describing it, basically the way he's describing it is a step-by-step process. So we have to be patient. We have to be patient as to what's going to be coming down the pipeline. That's basically about it. But yeah, there are, some shows that they're trying to work on financially to try to bring in. He did talk about working with the estate that, the family estate that's in charge of Benny and Cecil. I think that's a Fleischer one. I'm not really sure. He wants to try to bring Benny and Cecil in. And, probably more after that. But again, it's a process. It's a process. He did say that the network is available for cable, and that all cable companies have to do is pick up on it, basically bring it in. And I think that's going to happen over time. The more people that call in and demand for places like Cox, Spectrum, Xfinity, Comcast, and many others, the more they call in, go online and everything and say, hey, we want MeTV Toons, more than likely they're going to get MeTV Toons on their cable outlet. It just takes time. It takes time. And I think the other thing is wanting to work out some, like I said before, I think when cable companies do this, it's mainly not because, okay, people are demanding it and they want to provide good customer service, but also the fact that they're going to want a piece of that financial pie, in my opinion. But yeah, his main thing is, they're working as best they can to bring in shows, and everything, of the classic eras, like from the 30s up to the 80s, and somewhat the 90s, and even maybe 2000s, but mostly like 30s to, early mid 90s, maybe late 90s. I'll put it this way. Mainly, it's like 30s to late 90s. We'll put it that way. That's the goal, to try to get shows on the network from those 6 decades. From those 6 decades that I mentioned: 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. From those 6 decades. That's their main goal. That's the main goal. And they might do something here and there. Now, he did allude to the fact that they do have something planned for Bugs Bunny's birthday on the 27th. Well, it's going to be, an all-day, 2-day marathon. They got a special airs to air or something like that for Bugs Bunny, where they have interviews with the voices of Bugs, currently, and everything, as well as memories and stuff. And they're going to show nothing but nonstop Bugs Bunny cartoons, maybe movies, so that's going to be good. And then he did say that they're working on something for Halloween, for Scoobtober, do some Scooby-Doo stuff for Halloween, as well as have some Halloween-related material, like, we got some Flintstone, Halloween-related specials and everything. I think they're going to air and stuff, but mostly it's going to be focused around Scooby and stuff, so that's going to be good. They did mention something for Thanksgiving, where it's going to be duck, rabbit, or something like that, where duck, rabbit, no turkeys kind of deal. So they're working on that. And of course, Christmas, that's going to be a big one for them as well. He didn't say anything about that yet, but I guarantee anything that's on the network right now, if they had a Christmas special movie, it's going to get put on their on MeTV Toons. There's no doubt about that. We'll just find out as time goes on. But yeah, it's a great interview. Some news, some very big news coming out of the what's to come and everything. Like I said, the Animation Antiques block is coming. Remasters with the original outro and intros of Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound from the 60s and all that are coming. The Super Friends are coming, possibly along with the Fleischer Superman classic shorts, and maybe even other DC superhero-related classic cartoons, connected to that as well. But yeah, this is a great interview that they Andre did. So again, I'm gonna put it at the end here so you guys can check it out. He did allude that the reason they did the 80s block at late at night or early in the morning, depending on where you watch it, which is basically the Saturday into Sunday morning deal, with GoBots, Mr. T, Police Academy and all that. The reason they did it is because, of course, he was a fan of them as well, like a lot of us. But also with the fact that the reason they added the Mr. T one is because the A-Team, which he basically called a live-action cartoon, the A-Team is the popular show on Heroes and Icons. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to hear. But yeah, that's why you got Mr. T on there. So, outside of that, again, it's a great interview with some great information coming out. Like I said, Animation Antique, where you're going to get classic black and white animations and rarities here and there of cartoons you don't normally see, like Courageous Cat, Clutch Cargo maybe and stuff, might be on there along with them. And then, of course, the Super Friends, the big announcement there, along with the possibilities that you're going to get a lot of the related Super Friends stuff afterwards, along with maybe even some of the Timverse stuff in the 90s. So, really big information coming through in this interview of stuff that's coming. And again, he says the reason they're waiting on some of the other shows that they've advertised is they're still doing the X's, they're still dotting the X's and the I's, it's financial, and also they're waiting for certain remasters, like I said, with Yogi and Huckleberry, as well as they're working with certain estates to ensure they get, to ensure they can get access to show some of these other classic cartoons like Benny and Cecil and a few others, as well as they are working with trying to get, the Terry Toons and stuff, as well as trying to get remasters of the Harvey Toons and everything, and maybe even the Terry Toons. But outside of that, great interview, and I highly recommend it. But those are just my thoughts on the interview and the announcements that came out of it. Let me know what yours are. Comment down below. Check out my Teespring store and my Redbubble store. Links are in the description, as well as links to my the other places where you can find my content. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are on all this. Again, video will be at the end here. If you're watching on YouTube, that is. Video will be on the end here. Click on that, check it out, and until then, I am out.